17. Welcome to another episode of Redacted.
Sorry! That's the first time I've ever had the ringer on my phone, ever, in my life. I apologize.
That timing, though. How are you?
I'm just gonna go.
We missed you last week.
Go.
We missed you last week.
I miss you guys, too. I'm good. So, good news, real quick. I do not, after today, I work on Wednesday today. But after that, I'm not scheduled to work on Wednesdays. I might pick up a shift here and there, but so we should be able to like not have issues with me and the podcast as much anymore. Which is great.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
So I guess let's just jump right into it. First things first, before we
hold on? Are we gonna ask Bored about his pillow?
I was trying
Japanese
to.
love pillow.
I think we have to ask him about his pillow.
You'd think
Your bracelets work.
you would think he would at least have a green pillow, and then it would just be chromed out, or like the green sheet over it.
No, that's not what's happened at all, Saurus.
I see that.
Who has a green pillow?
Who has a green pillow?
I have.
The only person who have a green pillow.
All right. Maybe.
Actually, I just buy my pillows from the chroma key
Saurus's whole life is chroma keyed out.
My whole life is chroma keyed out.
Just a void. Just a black hole.
Yeah.
Pillows.
You need a pillow amount now. You were thinking of what you wanted. Now you know.
There you go.
Pillow remote. Done. Boom.
Yeah.
Next remote.
It looks like it looks like you're laying down and the camera's pointing from the ceiling down on you. Just the
casting couch.
That could be what is happening.
This is just the nappy nap podcast.
Nappy nap. Oh my god, that'd be so good. Let's just think about it for a while. Quite creepy when he does that, actually.
Yep. All right. So first things first. We do have the Redacted t-shirts are on sale right now. If you want to go pick one up for the next 2 days, they're on for $14. And Twerk, if you could throw that link in chat, and Bored, if you could throw that link down below the video, that would be awesome.
Go team.
Thank you, sir. We are going to jump right into ATV stuff. If anybody has a question, exclamation point question in chat, click on the Google link and fill that out, and we will make sure to get that. Yeah, when we get to the questions. So, first things, they showed the ground turrets when they were. What were they working on there?
Well,
that's really loud.
The kind of like AI too.
Well,
so they were automated turrets.
Yeah, well, they were talking about
pretty wild.
They were the thing that they were talking about was
they
how
never miss.
They never miss. Well, was how players could jump out and hand it off to AI and back to players again seamlessly. And then this is what they were showing. They were showing the ground turrets, which is the first time we've seen this. And I know that
they overused the term seamlessly. Like they didn't need to say seamlessly there.
It's almost overused as much as fidelity.
Almost.
It's like you can
seamless
use fidelity. you can use the word fidelity for a lot of their stuff. Yeah, you can. That makes sense. But the word seamlessly just seems irrelevant in a lot of stuff they say now. You can hand it over between AI and player control. Boom.
Seamlessly.
No, fuck you, Jack.
Yeah. But this is cool. It was something I was hoping we would see in. I didn't think it was something they were gonna have ready as soon as we did. What's really cool about this is this means that we don't need those fake zones like we have in All-Star right now. Right?
Oh, the armistice zones.
The armistice zones, yeah.
Yeah.
Those are, I don't think, are going to be in the final game. Basically,
at least their intention is to not, as of when they've mentioned it, is their intention was not to have armistice zones. That's not the solution that they want. It might end up being with the solution that we have if the solutions that they come up with don't work as good.
I could see them making OP stuff like
scan
this.
fucking turrets that just insta kill. Yeah.
And it's like, so
Yeah.
you know, you're not allowed to pull out your
Yeah,
weapon,
might
but if you
be.
do, you get told off by NPCs or whatever.
I
And then if
still
you
think
fire,
we're going to have armistice stones in areas where of large cities and city planets where they pull you into the corridors for flight, where they're pulling you down into landing. I think they will still be armistice because they don't want players to randomly shoot into cities as they pass by.
Yeah, so I guess, well, you'll be.
well, it won't be. You'll
I
be.
see what you're saying. The ship will the station platform or the planet platform will like turn your weapons off and disable you and pull you
take
in.
control of your flight computer.
Yeah, so it will be a quote unquote armistice zone, but it won't be. You walk into there,
It won't be
and
like
this little
Al-Assad.
icon appears and you can't do anything. It's more. There'll be more lore behind it.
Yeah.
I still also think that we will get those icons saying that areas are armistice zones, but
As
they're
in,
more of a
if you
legal
fire,
thing. Yeah.
I think
You
yeah,
and
we
your
would
hub
see
will
like
go,
actual
this is a no-fire
signs,
zone.
like
Yeah,
like an
okay.
actual metal sign in the game or whatever. That's like no weapons in this area. We are a family-friendly planet.
And I'm hoping that in those situations, it's actually harder to accidentally pull out your gun. Like, you don't want to accidentally push a button on your mouse when you're in a city, when you're just about to sell a load of shit as like a bounty hunter. You've just got loads of bounties with you, like, fucking great, I've got all my big haul. I've accidentally pulled out my gun and been shot by security.
To bring out your
Yeah,
weapons,
'cause,
you
like-
have to press like one of the number keys. You can't just pretend to fire. It won't do anything, right? So
I mean, I think
It has
you
to be
would probably
intentional.
get arrested, disabled, or shot down if you pull your weapon out in like, the middle of a city, right?
It's going to be interesting to see how they deal with it, isn't it? Like,
Yeah, it's actually quite cool.
accidental
You know what I didn't
discharge.
think? I really didn't think of, Board, was for forever when I was thinking about this, I always assumed that taking the shot would be the thing that would be the issue.
like your gun.
But pulling out your gun is obviously the issue, right? So like, so they can stop they can essentially stop you from trolling, stop you from griefing before it even happens, right? Because as soon as you pull your gun out, then the area is alerted to what's going on.
That's what I was saying. Is you could have like NPC as soon as you pull out your weapon, you could have like NPCs start to run over to you,
or an NPC turret, like
yeah,
like a security turret, like a much smaller version of what we were just looking at, to just
yeah, like the ones
save-
we
like,
see
it could
in
be set to stun or something.
Area 18 or whatever.
Yeah,
The chain
exactly.
turrets or whatever.
So
Moving forward, the Terrapin has gone into gray box phase. Its white box phase is complete.
is
and
anyone surprised it's that fast?
Uh,
I was kind of surprised.
I wasn't expecting them to be working on this ship before, say, like the some of the reworks
Squadron?
and stuff.
Maybe Squadron?
Maybe.
So these smaller ships with developed pipelines for the ship pipeline already, and they don't require any extra mechanics to get working, will get done incredibly fast compared to what we're used to.
Yeah.
Only the utility mount that makes this ship have any form of other mechanic.
Yeah, it's the first ship with a utility mount, right? That they'll be making. Well,
No.
the first ship with, I'm assuming the Aquila has a utility mount, so it's already made, which is probably already
The
made.
Cutlass does.
The original Cutlass was supposed to have a utility mount.
The
Yeah, but is it
Caterpillar.
the first one that they're
The
actually
Caterpillar.
putting one on? They're supposed to have them, but is this the first one they're putting it on? I guess is what I'm asking.
Yeah, either
maybe.
that or the Hornet Tracker will probably be the first we actually get use of in item 2.0. I see what you mean.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Because the Polaris, the Prospector's going to have one too, right?
I'm not sure if that's going to be
The same type.
We need to see how they break down those utility mounts. Like, is a utility mount a broad term for mining, industry, radars, and all that break down into more categories?
Yeah.
Or is it sort of like the same way a pylon mount might allow you to have missiles and rockets, like how the bursts are utility mounts?
Yeah.
True.
And
Good point.
speaking of reworks, they also showed the old and the new sort of reworks for the Aurora.
Aurora's
Which
looking good.
It's like looking really good.
Yeah.
Minus a chair, which obviously is like something they're still working on.
Well, we also know that the chair is going to be something you can upgrade.
Yeah.
So maybe that it's something in that model.
Why not have a standing spaceship? I don't see an issue with that.
I mean, it prevents metrics
That's
issues.
my
Right?
honest.
It's one less animation you have to do.
what about when you're in gravity and you're upside down on a planet? You're not strapped into anything. They don't have mag boots. Don't exist in the game anymore.
Sticky gloves. You just put you get gloves.
There's just boots that are bolted to the floor that you strap into those.
Yeah.
But
why not?
You're on a fucking snowboard.
It's
Strap in, bro.
a snowboard.
It's a snowboard spaceship. Strap in, bro.
Bring the ceiling down, so it doesn't matter if you're upside down or not. You just compressed it.
Also, the new joysticks on this. Do they look familiar?
Are they warthogs or something?
They are warthogs. Yeah, it's two warthogs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I recognize them actually.
How neat is that? That's pretty neat.
That's pretty neat. You could tell by the way it is.
This was my favorite part of the ATV, and I think this is a favorite part of a lot of people. Every time they show some planet stuff, it's like my favorite part.
This was
the Daymar trench runs. Is like, it looks so good.
It looks so good, but here's I guess I have concerns. Like always. Is this what our content's gonna be?
Yeah, this is all of it.
Well,
that's what I'm saying. All the content. You just do the trench run 3,000 times, and that's my stream.
That's what I'm worried about. Is this because we're getting moons and not planets with cities? Is this what we're going to be doing in 3.0?
We still have like outposts and things like that to go and find.
Maybe.
What do you mean maybe? No, the outposts are in. Outposts are in the ETA.
Until I see them, everything could be in the ETA.
Right. Well, it's not a stretch goal.
This
in
we
the
see.
ETA. And they even said the outposts are done. So,
how many missions are we going to do on planets other than exploring them this way?
To work. This will at the very least, even if it's just this will give me the same amount of gameplay that I had with No Man's Sky's initial release. Okay, the very least, which is like
none.
It was about 40 hours. I actually played out of it in the end.
For me, it's like this is enough to bring a lot of people in. And so even if we had nothing, it'd still be there's. I think there's a lot
I don't want to take away from it because this is amazing. I don't want to be negative about it. It just does bring up some concerns for me about replayability.
You're totally right, Quick. We demand tangible gameplay for 3.0. We do not want to just go through a trench 7,000 times.
Yes, and we'll go into it later a little bit that we think we're going to get it, and they said we're going to get it in some form. My just only concern is, and it's not even a concern, it's just a thought that goes through my mind, is how much gameplay are we going to have on the planets? I think we're going to definitely get improved gameplay.
It depends on if the missions send you to the planets and stuff. Right? This is the first time we're going to see the mission system come in properly, right? That's procedural.
Will it be on the planets? That's all.
I'm sure it'll send you to parts on the planets. Why wouldn't they?
Yeah, it will be on the planets as well, as far as I'm aware. But there's going to be salvage sites on planets. There's going to be things to find on planets. There's going to be outposts on planets. There may even be some handcrafted things like the Benny's Henge on planets that players will have to discover, and they will be quite hard to find this time.
The Javelin on Delamar.
Javelin salvage sites. Yeah, that's a good example.
If Miles Eckhart comes in, if we get Nyx.
Well, Miles Eckhart and Ruto are both supposed to be mission givers in 3.0.
Yeah. So are they going to be? They weren't stretch goals in the thing, right? But Nyx was. So then Miles might be put somewhere else.
Well, Delamar is what you're thinking of. Nyx is the system. Delamar, the big asteroid or whatever, with Levski.
You know what I mean.
Yeah.
You know what I mean.
I know what you mean. I'm making sure everybody else knows what you mean.
Okay. But obviously he was there, so now they're going to place him somewhere else.
He might just appear on your Moby-Glass, for all we know, in 3.0.
That's a good point.
Or he might be at a truck. I suppose he could be at a truck stop or something. Not a truck stop. A point of interest.
Yeah.
An outpost or a space station or something.
Or a planet. Don't find him. But yeah, I don't think you have to worry too much about it just being this twerk.
I'm not worried. I'm not worried. I don't want to seem like negative or worried. I was just like posing a question because we've seen this, but will we get like?
I think we're allowed to be critical of the game, and we're allowed to have these worries. I'm worried that we're not going to have more than 20, 40, 60 hours of tangible gameplay, and yeah, I totally understand.
You know what? If we have that much gameplay on 3.0, I'm going to be more than happy. Right now we have 3 hours max, maybe.
Yeah, but the AI subsumption in its very basic stage, what we're planning to get for 3.0 is going to be replayable missions. They're a little bit different, a little bit procedurally modular, change around a bit. We're going to have a lot more to do. There's going to be a lot more to find, and it's not just going to be an expansion of 2.0. It's a whole new game. It's still very early. But it's the first genuine tangible gameplay that we're going to have from Persistent Universe. And you won't have to worry about it being like, well, this is all we've got for 5 months now. I won't be able to do any content after 2 weeks. I don't think it's going to be like that at all. I do think it's going to be...
That doesn't concern me as much anymore, because
these
days I play other games and enjoy them and come back to Star Citizen and enjoy that. It's not the way it used to be. So I don't have the concerns about Star Citizen that I used to have anymore. Now I'm more focused on, I really just want this game to be great. And when I say what I say it because I love the game and I want the game to be amazing, and not because I want my stream to be good or whatever, you know. I don't need the content right now necessarily is the way I feel these days.
Valid and important work, those concerns. Like, you should voice them when you have them.
Yeah. Just it is a little bit, naming it 3.0 and then maybe not seeing what we saw in the 3.0 demo on CitizenCon necessarily, right? That is
that screen change hurt my head.
Moving forward, the item 2.0 is going to make characters fundamentally different, and so they said a new loadout editor tool is going to be needed for that. Basically, things like all the weapons and stuff like that, the way that they attach and where they attach on those on the characters. And how they react to the movement and stuff like that. And we have a video of it here. I guess it's like it adds like a new sort of skeleton. This one isn't the heavy model. I'm going to show the heavy. Oh, yes, it is. This also shows the heavy model.
In the loadout editor here, it reacts in real time, so it literally moves the attachment points.
How cool the weapons moving around
and the grenades and everything.
And the grenade, like everything had motion, everything, and it felt real and right.
It gives it weight. It gives it weight.
I think not just based on the item. I actually think it's based on the item port as well.
Yeah, like it's like an external skeleton that these things attach to, which is on these suits, which is kind of what they were talking about. How there's like a separate rigging.
And heavy armor looks
cool.
Great.
Is that heavy marine though with all those guns on him?
Yeah,
looks great. It looks really great.
I kind of just want to shoot him right in the grenades.
I've tried shooting grenades. I've tried shooting grenades in game once they've been thrown. They don't blow up.
I would imagine they're not like their reasoning would be they're not an explosive that would go off on
until
force.
Charged or whatever.
It would be like an electric force or some sort of something. So you can't. Otherwise, why would you carry them on your chest like that? That's where you're gonna get shot.
I think like a lot of warheads and explosives like that have to be detonated in a certain way anyway. Explode.
Yeah, I have dropped 0 frames. We are.
No, it's some people lost the stream and some didn't.
Yeah. Yeah, and then they also said that the Marine is the one with the most attachments, more than any other armor set. I assume that the Heavy Outlaw will have just as many.
Yeah, it's heavy armor in general.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see what happens with the Titan suits then. Like, do they have attachments or are they treated as vehicles?
I feel like they'd be treated as vehicles.
yeah, I'm feeling that way too now.
Wait, what do you feel would be vehicles?
Titan
Titan armor.
suits.
Oh, yeah, I would feel that those would be more vehicles, yeah. Or more, it's not so much like a suit. It would be more in line of like what the Dragonfly is, right?
So I think there's going to be a difference between vehicle weapons and spaceship weapons, like size-wise. They've talked a little while back about having vehicle weapons as smaller than spaceship weapons. So I'm assuming that we'll have like attachments that could have multiple railguns or whatever on, rather than size 1 weapons from the spaceship. I don't know. Maybe they've re-standardized vehicle weapons to size 1.
Yeah.
Tell me, CIG, tell me.
Speaking of the Heavy Outlaw as well, they are working on that right now. And that is in-game. They're just doing some final polish details on this. Now, one of the things this is going to be the first helmet that we see that looks like it's fully covered.
Yeah.
Now we see, I think it's with the medium marine armor right now. We know that it sort of comes down.
Yeah.
Do you think that we are going to see an open version of this helmet on its initial implementation, or do you think that it's going to be the closed version, sort of all-encompass, or do you think that this is like some sort of Tavaran tech built into it where you can see through?
Well, they can lure us. They can use lore on it any way they want when they go for the what it actually looks like.
Right.
Yeah, they could say whatever, but the current heavy pirate, has that big, and it's only the circles, but you can kind of see their eyes through.
Yeah, you can see through that.
Right.
Where this totally covers all of their face, from what it looks like. It looks
I feel
really
like
good.
They're gonna use lore.
I really like how this looks. And I'm excited for it to be in game.
It looks very aggressive.
Oh, yeah. So this was my favorite suit of armor. After seeing the heavy marine in motion, I'm having second thoughts. I quite like the heavy marine.
What's going to happen when you see this in motion?
That's a good point.
Right? You're seeing this just gray, and you know.
I'm going to scream CIG to have some sort of armor concept sale. Sell me the armor with real money, because I can't be asked to earn it in game.
Then you would have nothing to earn in game, right?
And that's what I mean. I need to do a video on that or something. Like, for God's sake, people, earn something in game.
And last but not least, on characters, they showed some of the Squadron 42 characters. They showed the OMC, which is the new outlaw faction, undersuit. They showed the BDU for the Marines, like their uniform, and then they also showed like the most normal looking characters we've seen so far with the rep. What is it called there? Medical rep. It just looks like a lady in a pantsuit. Hillary Clinton.
She didn't.
Yeah. Nothing like nothing.
The regular old. It looks like regular like now. It doesn't look like 1,000 years in the future suit either.
Yeah, like you see the first.
You would see her today.
The first female character here has this like extravagant thing that's showing her shoulders and sort of ornate and everything, and then you see like a normal. You could see this walking down the street now, and you wouldn't blink twice. Where this, you would be like, oh, this girl thinks she lives in Star Trek.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't think
the only thing is, look at her hand. She has like a weird glove that just goes over her thumb.
I don't think I feel comfortable with like the Star Trek villain version of women in the future. Like, if it's a medical rep, I want to feel at ease.
Okay. I just noticed like, her hand. That would be a little weird. It'd be like, is she like a professional pool player? What's going on with the gloves?
Right.
What's going on with gloves, lady?
Dude. RSI, man. She's RSI. It's just
gonna go play some golf.
Spacebar.
Yeah. So I thought that was interesting because they don't very often show any of the Squadron 42 stuff specifically, and especially with the BDU and the medical rep will be out there, and I'm sure the BDU you'll see all over the universe as well. But it's just nice to see when they do show some Squadron 42 stuff.
There's the issue with them showing stuff on ATV, and it's like especially the Squadron 42 stuff they're trying to keep under wraps. Like quite spoilery, even like the stuff they want to show us, so that it would spoil it for some people. So they have to be very careful. And a lot of the stuff that's in the persistent universe is quite heavily connected to that. So they can't show us some of like pirate factions or vandal factions or whatever, or some of the ships and that sort of stuff, because it would spoil the game for a lot of people.
I'm actually gonna come back to that later on when we're talking about alien ships. Moving forward into the Banu. This was cool. We saw the Banu in depth. They've changed how they look a little bit. They remind me when I saw this particular thing. Now this was a little later in the ATV, but I put it for this section right at the beginning because when they were talking about them and sort of explaining them, they reminded me of Xerxes. Have you seen 300? And you know when they're all coming in,
like the Persian Empire.
Yeah.
So exactly what they're supposed to remind you of.
Yep. So they did well.
They did I really like what they did with the style guide for the Banu, and I really like the idea of having that sort of creepy, weird, uneasy, and then they're like overly nice and overly, you know, the hospitality is you know, really strong with them and stuff like that. So if the Xi'an are Chinese, the Vandal or the Visigoths, the Tavaran is like feudal Japan, the Banu is the Persian Empire.
And the UE is supposed to be like Rome or whatever.
It's kind of the falling of Rome. It's the barbarians at the gates, is the way I feel that.
Yeah, so
the Roman Empire.
Yeah.
Really, really cool stuff. It's changed from the original design, and if you don't remember what the original design is, I have a old and new sort of thing here. So here's the new Banu, right? And then they're more colorful. Their skin is like a sort of eel or sort of fish skin thing. They're kind of slimy looking, in like a literal sense, not as a metaphorical thing. But and just sort of like they're very. A lot of people obviously made the reference to Groot. And then the original was just a little too scary, and they wanted it to bring in a lot more color into like.
It looked aggressive.
And, yeah, I think they wanted to make them look a lot less aggressive. But what's really cool.
How many nostrils do they have? Where are they breathing from? They're breathing from their foreheads.
I can't figure it out.
Both.
Who knows?
But yeah, who knows?
Maybe they have really good sense of smell.
Maybe they're impossible to drown. Maybe they can breathe underwater. Maybe they don't even breathe oxygen.
Maybe they have roots.
Yep. But Josh Herman, the character concept artist who worked on this, also was the one who did the character concept for Groot on Guardians of the Galaxy. So kind of cool.
Sense.
So it's cool to see if there any of the things that feel similar or sort of pay homage to that. Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was neat. What were your thoughts on sort of how they look? At first, there was something with the mouth area that made me feel strange, like it was too wide or something.
When you look at their lower face below their forehead, they look very much like the guys in Mass Effect, the ones that talk really fast.
The Solarians.
So from below their forehead, they very much remind me of Solarian, but just a bit more lumpy. I don't think they look alien enough to me. Like
they don't. Yeah, they're humanoid-ish.
Yeah, they're humanoid enough for you to relate to them, but they're alien enough to know that they're definitely not humans.
Yeah, and I think that's good. Like, I don't know, I've been watching a lot of Star Trek lately, and I feel like everyone they come across is like a human with a little...
They didn't have much of a budget back then, Twerk.
Yeah, I'm talking... Yeah, it's just like there was like a little difference on their face, that's it, so...
Yeah. Now...
This I like.
They also talked a little bit about the history of the Banu, and when they were the first humans, or the first aliens that we had contact with, and this was after we had discovered jump points and terraforming and all this other stuff, and it was actually shot at, and shot at it and whatever, and it was like, okay, this could be bad, but it turned out he was a fugitive. And it's just, oh, you're lucky. He was wanted, so it doesn't matter if you shot at him.
I think he's still become like a Banu hero, though. It's like the way they implied it.
Yeah, like, I think he became like a folk hero or something like that.
Yeah.
I find, like, we're probably going to go into the Banu culture a little bit now, and I just want to start out. It's a lot of it's weird. The no history thing is weird to me.
The no history thing, the selling your children.
The selling of your children, that makes...
It's not really the
still
selling of your children. It's giving your children to the state, effectively. Because
for money.
You give it to the...
It's still selling them.
Yeah, but... Yeah, that's part of the process for them. So the only
part of the process.
You have a child to help build society, but you get something back from the government. I like the way their stuff works with the commune, because then there's no peerage.
It was definitely interesting, because it wasn't like they get sold into slavery. They get sold into, like, it's, for example, they sell it to the different, well, they might.
Slavery.
They get sold
to the orgs and the schools, and then the schools school them, and then they have to work off what they were bought for before they earn their citizenship within their own culture. And then they're free to do whatever they want. They can stay within that tribe. They can go to their own, make their own. They can choose to do, choose to do whatever. I just thought that was really interesting. And
I like the way that they're kind of like focused into paths. Like you're quite good at this. You're specializing in it for the rest of your life.
Yeah. Whether you like what I notice is there's no concern of what you like doing or what you don't like. Like, no, I might be good at something. I'm really good at dealing poker. I fucking hate it. I don't want to do it for the rest of my life. You know what I mean?
I don't think they see it in the same way, though, because the Banu is supposed to have this nice juxtaposed nature where they really hard workers and they love to do what they're good at, but they also love relaxing. They love gambling. They love all that sort of stuff. They love the excessive food and stuff. So I think it's like they like to be good at stuff, like to enjoy themselves, but they're aliens. They're an alien species, and I like the fact that it's a bit different.
Mm-hmm.
I think it kind of works.
Also, a lot of their clothing is very ornate, has a lot of different colors, a lot of different patterns in it, and even their ships. When we see some of their ship stuff later on, it's very artisanal, and that was actually how they describe their entire culture. They don't really have artwork, right? Because like paintings or sculptures or whatever, because everything they make is done with like such pride and such like craftsmanship that it's artwork in and of itself within the function of what it's doing. So when you look at their cities, which I'm excited to see in game when they come in, or you look at the interior of some of their ships, and I have some of that here, it's just very organic, artisanal looking, and very, very different from the function of the interior of, say, human ships or even other alien ships that are focused on like war, such as the Vanduul.
Yeah, I mean, like I think Bored was saying it before that he likes the specialization thing, and I think that's going to become definitely something of value when we're playing the game upon like release, where I need this for this mission, and I think it'll be much easier to go to the Banu to get it, because you know what Suli does what, and you go to that Suli when you need, I don't know, defense or a certain type of weapon or something, right? So if you need something, you kind of will know where to go to get it with these guys.
It's even more with that. Like, the intention is to have alien crews eventually, and that we can hire. I would have most of my crew as Banu, probably, because if they're specialists in all their tasks, so I want him as a comms officer, I want him as the shield operator, because I know that he's done it for his whole life.
Yeah, I would imagine he would be more skilled at it than a human in some cases, right? I'm sure there's some more skilled humans than a Banu.
Yeah, because maybe they're not used to human ships, stuff like that. There might be downsides with that, but yeah, I love the idea of the Banu species. I like the way they focus them.
Before
I like.
Oh no, go ahead. You go ahead, because
I was just gonna say, Well, if we're going to move forward into the ship, that's why I'm saying go ahead, because it's kind of a point that gets made there anyway. So
okay, so before we move into that, I was going to say the Banu Merchantman has been mentioned as massive, and people were looking at the concept art and saying, "Oh, it's bigger or as big as an Idris and stuff like that."
Yeah.
Its concept is also gone up by $100 from $250 to $350, which is I think, is this the first ship we've seen go up in price is still in concept?
Yes, I believe.
Right?
Jump
Everything
in.
else has been gone
jump.
up. Okay.
890 jump, yeah.
And then I guess maybe the Idris itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, Javelin, Idris.
The thing is, like, the Idris has been flyable for a while.
Yeah.
Not flyable, but they've said
in our special content creator build, the Idris has been flyable for ages.
Yeah, the problem is they can't get multiple of them in.
No, I mean, they said that it was flying for a while, right? But it's that the Idris is unique because they don't want to spoil Squadron 42.
I thought it was they want to be able to have multiple players. They need to have 2 of them in fighting each other at the same time with ships before they come in.
I think it's probably a bit of both.
Well, that's what they said. I mean, that's
probably a bit of both. Well, I mean, they also said that it's a big part of the Squadron 42 storyline, so we're going to decide what we want to do with it later.
Right. Yeah, and they haven't really. Both. Yeah, that's true. Okay, so with the Defender, guess what kind of ship it is? The defense ship.
No way.
A real way. The other really cool thing about this, and if you want to go through the rest of the points here, was that they actually it's not made through Asperia for the human version.
Finally.
They make them because they saw that we wanted
so it's affordable.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Yeah. It's not as rare. It's not as made in as limited numbers, I would imagine.
Yeah. So it's I like it, and the reason that I like this is different than I think maybe why some other people like it or dislike it. For me, it's another, excuse my language, it's another fucking combat ship. But the way they did the sale was completely different than the way they've done any concept sales in a while, because they had the ability to reveal the Banu to us basically when they did the sale. So the brochure and everything made it really cool and interesting and different than the way they've done these combat ship sales in the past, and it kind of sold me on the ship then, in a way that something like, I don't know, the whatever of some of these combat ships that have come out recently, like, I don't know, the Terrapin didn't sell me on anything. Like, yes, they put lore into each concept sale, and each sale in general, which is cool, but it just wasn't as in depth as this because they didn't have as much to reveal because they were all human ships before, right?
Right.
So I don't know. This one really sold me on it because of that. The 2 separate pods is interesting, although it's less interesting.
I don't think a lot of people could see past the cockpit design.
Yeah, so I really like
videos and shit like, oh, it's a big mistake. We're not going to be able to see, like the guys at CIG aren't going to get in the ship and go, oh man, can't see. We should probably adjust this.
Release.
Yeah.
Release.
Yeah, like they're some kind of idiots when they make ships. Like,
I mean, it's still something I wanted to talk to you guys with, and what do you think the solution will be? Number one, I like the idea that it's 2 separate cockpits because the Banu are very specialized. So one is for the guns and one is for the pilot. So the pilot won't be able to shoot. You'll need someone to be shooting because that's the way that it's sort of set up.
The thing about that, though, is it's not in this ship.
In our Defender, the human Defender,
the human one,
both are fully shared. That you can fly that one person without any loss of functionality.
And like, why does it make it so unique? Yeah, and it's like it's the Banu one, the one that we can't fly, is the one that's unique and different. So like, yes, it's unique, but it's just unique in a lower sense until there's one day that you can play. And then as a Banu,
you have the arms, and I think that's what a lot of people have their concern about is what, like, you can only see, basically you'll have tunnel vision, right? With the concept that it has now, yeah, they may raise or lower, like, so the wings aren't on the same plane as you, so they're a little bit lower, a little bit higher, or something, so you can see around. And they did mention that I believe it was in the happy hour or the subscriber town hall, where they said it's just a concept, and there probably will be some revisions to that based on what they can see and all this other stuff. Or they could use things like the Tavaran, because they do use other species equipment on stuff and materials. They could use that Tavaran, they have on the ship. Yeah, the one-way looking through things.
So I think maybe Chris Roberts is just like, as long as those arms are high enough fidelity, it's fine if they block view. These really
they
high
look
quality
really
arms.
good when you're looking at them.
Yeah, those look really good.
As long as they're artisanal arms.
Yeah, as long as it looks good from a third-person perspective.
I think CIG learned something, is that when they look at concept designs, people will literally rip the assets out and just go, well, as it is at the moment, this is unacceptable. So they need to think about some of these things a little bit more. Like, obviously, they're going to raise the cockpit up slightly and probably lower the arms.
Or they could move the arms back further, or there's
slightly,
like all kinds of stuff they could do.
tweaks.
Or make them angle out or widen, or there's all kinds of different things they could do.
Just look at the Buccaneer. The turret was on the bottom, then it was on the top because it made more sense.
Yep.
You know, they're during the concept phase, they're going to come across things like that and say, this doesn't work, we need to adjust it so it works. And then they will, and then they'll put it out. Right? I think the Buccaneer was probably one of the better ships that have come out in quite a while. So I think they pretty much got these kind of things down. So the people that get up in arms about things like this, it's with ships, I don't necessarily think we need to worry about that. Ship balance, flight balance, I still think we need to kind of be vocal, but the way things look necessarily...
I mean, it doesn't hurt to be vocal about things, right? Even,
I guess.
Even with things like this, as long as it's not like, oh my god, the world's ending, this is the worst thing ever.
That's what happened with this.
That's what happens with everything, and this is the internet.
I mean, it taught CIG to make sure that their concept art hasn't got anything where people can go, well, this is wrong. And hopefully it will teach people after they use the Q&A that the concept ships do get a bit changed.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Yeah. Moving forward, they are going to be able to eject. They have the Xi'an engines, and I believe Tavaran shields. Tavaran shields. And then do we know? Really good. Yeah. Do we know who make their Singe weapons? Right, like
they're Banu weapons, and they're tech.
No, they're not Banu. They don't know where they're from.
They don't know where they're from.
Okay.
Yeah. There are some other alien races that we don't know about.
Yeah, it could be like the Krthok or something.
Okay.
Yeah, or someone else they made in ancient times. What we know.
Yeah, and so that sort of begs the question. We've seen Vanduul stuff. We know they trade with a Vanduul.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of equipment do you see the Banu using from the Vanduul?
Slaves.
Yeah. Who knows? It could be anything.
Right? Like, have Vanduul as like their first line of defense.
I really want to talk about those weapons a little bit more, because on the town hall, they explained exactly what they were.
Yeah, we can go into that for sure.
And I found it really interesting, and I think it's the first kind of game-changing weapon that they've put in since the shotguns. And the shotgun implementation, I don't know how to be polite about it, because it's shit. I don't think they were implemented very well. Like, I placed my reticle on something. Yeah, I placed my reticle on it. It doesn't hit the ship, so it doesn't work well. But what was said about these, which I find really interesting and could be the most game-changing weapon that they put in, period, is they're super long range and they're super high projectile speed. So they're basically hit scan. And they're hit scan like sniper weapons, that they'll hit as hard as a normal laser.
Yeah.
But you're far enough away where I don't think anybody's gonna be able to hit you. So you're gonna have to play like kind of differently.
Yeah, it won't
they're
be.
Not hit scan.
It'll be the first.
They're basically hit scan.
Yeah.
IG Sherman, because he said, if you place your reticle on the ship, you're going to hit it. That's hit scan, right?
Well, hit scan is there's no projectile. It's just instant.
I click, it hits.
Yeah,
Hit
that's
scan normally.
sort of. I click, it hits is how he said it. So it sounded like hit scan to me. So what he said, Matt's saying is they have a speed and lifespan distance. So they'll hit scan means that there's no distance. So obviously we knew that, but it just has such a high speed that they're basically right. So he said you may not be able to react to them in time, but they will not be mechanically set up as a hit scan weapon. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Yeah,
Well,
but as
hard
close to
drive,
one
that
as can be
makes
is what it
sense.
sounds like. As close to what CIG wants, because we've talked to Matt about it before that they do not want hit scan weapons.
I suppose hit scan would be beam weapons, which they're avoiding, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and we've had that discussion.
Well,
with Matt
the
too.
thing is like hit scan in real life would not be a thing. Hit scan is more of the tech behind how the bullet travels in the game, right?
Yeah.
So by calling
hit
it
scan, there is no bullet that travels.
yeah, exactly, exactly. It's
yeah.
it's ray casted, right? So it's like, okay, it's just a direct line, and as soon as you pull the trigger, if that whatever that line is hitting, that's what it hits it right away, instead of having to travel that projectile over a certain period of time.
Yes, this still has to travel, but it's just really fast.
Right.
It's close to hit scan, but not.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it's going to change things a bit.
Also, want to make sure that everybody knows that this isn't a Drake ship, so you can eject
individually as well. Apparently, those pods individually eject. Be interesting. Where's my teammate gone? Fuck! Smarter than me.
And the sale is going to end May 1st for the concept version. They're $185. And this is where I was talking. You were talking about earlier about seeing stuff and stuff like that. Honestly, for me, if we couldn't buy alien ships at the beginning of the game, I would be okay with that.
Yeah.
And not seeing as much with the alien stuff. And I hope they do that with some of the ships, and I hope they do that with some of the stuff. Even though it's not in Squadron 42, the feeling of discovering something for the first time, especially when it comes to like aliens, like for example, okay, so let's say your typing is so loud.
Sorry.
All of the aliens that the humans have run into already, maybe that's okay for us to see. But say for example, like they have Kathaka, they have other alien races in there that the human haven't discovered yet, or something like that. I really hope they introduce something like that where it's like, oh shit, a player can be one of the first people to discover one of these new aliens, or whatever, and we find this whole.
Name them Star Kittens.
Oh, we're gonna get into that in a second. We're gonna get into that in a second. Yeah, and it's all fresh and all sort of new to us, and it feels more alien than the aliens we've known for hundreds of years because we haven't seen them at all. I don't know. I just think that would be cool, and I would be definitely okay with them holding something like that back. And I was wanting to know what your guys' opinions on that.
I think aliens should be. If we're gonna find another alien race, my personal feeling is I'd rather have it be part of like a story arc in the game than an individual player.
Okay, so even if it's a story arc in the game, it's something that is discovered
by a player. Just similar, like look at a game like Elite Dangerous, where one player, well, it was a scripted event.
Yeah,
like it was a very cool thing that put a lot of hype around that game, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I kind of agree with you. I think that'd
like
be cool.
Something like through a hidden jump point or something. It's like, oh, exactly. I brought you to this area, and it's like, maybe the UE,
cinematic.
Yeah, maybe UE already knew about them or something, but they were keeping them a secret because they didn't know enough about the aliens and all this other stuff. And it's one of those things that you could either tell people about or not tell people about. And I don't know. It would just be cool to have.
I don't want it to be like
Easter eggs like that.
Yeah, but that if you're gonna find a new alien race, I would not want to have the ability to decide whether to tell people about it or not, like you would a fucking asteroid field that you can make some money off of.
I'd like to see hints at an alien race, then them build a story, and then them kind of be discovered, sort of like in that kind of.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, how they get discovered is kind of irrelevant, and that's missing my point entirely. How
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like what you do after.
Yeah. I like, and the information I'm talking about. I would be talking about selling the jump point, but like even the info. I'm just saying whether you tell your friends it's there or not, right? So just because you found it doesn't mean that everybody else has found it yet. Yeah, it'll be on the front page of Reddit or Spectrum or whatever as soon as somebody finds it. But if somebody is avoiding those places or hasn't discovered it for themselves, it's something they're able to discover for themselves later on. And I think that would be really cool.
Yeah.
Where you don't know what they look like. And so the first, group of people to find them, it's like it's a brand new thing that nobody expected in the game at all. Is more of what I'm saying.
I think we kind of are expecting them, and we're expecting lots of different races over many years, because I suspect in like several years' time we'll have an alien invasion from a random race and stuff like that they'll put into the game, and some of these races will be shoved down our throats. It'll be like they are every fucking where. Like these are alien insects that are attacking everywhere, or they might be more subtle, or they might be like the Kathak that we might be able to go and visit. We don't really know if they're going to be part of the lore properly, because they're part of Xi'an space and we don't really know. But I think there's going to be lots of stuff going on there. Obviously, there's going to be lots of non-sentient races as well, like space cows and things. Yes, those sentient races that I think we're all excited about, like how they're going to be discovered, how they're going to be introduced to us. Are they going to be subtle and secret, like Sora said, or are some of them going to be even at the start, like in your face?
I hope they do it just like Elite. I thought that was done so well.
For some of them, yes.
I thought that was done so well.
Because that game had a long time.
I'm also sure there's ways that they've thought of stuff that we're not even thinking of. So,
but a game like Star Citizen needs that kind of word of mouth and.
They're going to be doing these big story arcs. They're going to be doing these big things. They're going to have GMs running games within the game. Definitely, they love that.
They've already talked about having special events that the GMs can trigger and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly.
And all of that stuff. So, let's move forward into the referral stuff.
Can we not say we did?
We're gonna, because this upset a lot of people, and I think for a lot of really good reasons, and
for good reasons and not really good reasons either, but okay.
Most of them were pretty good, I think, but we'll talk about that as we go. So the first things first, people. Well, I mean, I'm going by my opinion on a lot of these things. So new levels were added. I was really disappointed they didn't add lower tiers. I thought they were going to add things in the lower stuff in between the 1 and 50 or 1 and 100 range, where 99.99
program,
we'll talk about the contest in a minute. Just the referral program. So the added the Razor at 75, the Blade at 100, the Glaive at 200, the Terrapin and the Hurricane at 500, the Million Mile High Club at 1042, and the Javelin at 2017. Now I don't think adding any of those really says to anybody outside of being a content creator, that's something I want to go after and is attainable by me. Even if it was little things like clothing or FPS weapons or little hanger flares or whatever, I really think they should have filled out those lower levels a lot more to sort of, if this is something they want to incentivize, having a lot of people do 5 referrals is going to overall possibly be more than one person getting 2,000. You know what I mean? And so the incentives, like the person who's going to get 2,000 is going to get 2,000 regardless. You know what I mean? If they're going to hit that, that's something that they're going to hit. Whereas this may turn off a lot of people from actively recruiting people. And I wanted to know what your guys' thoughts are on introducing those lower tiers, and do you think they should have done that? I still think they should have had these higher tiers, But do you think that they should have introduced more lower tiers or things in between?
I mean, I think the easiest answer is yes, obviously. And if you look at it this way, one referral by 1,000 people is the same as the one fucking guy or a couple guys that have 1,000 referrals.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and two referrals by those 1,000 people are also another extra 1,000. So if you're, my only negative feeling about the referral program where it is now is I feel that there should be one reward for every referral that you get at least between 1 and 10, because the average person will probably get between 1 and 5 people, and if you have a lot of friends,
and over the lifetime of
you
playing
might
the
get
game,
10.
You may get
you'll probably
get
get around 10 to 12 or whatever, right? And I also want to start out with the referral program wasn't necessarily put there for the average person who just plays the game. The lower level stuff was, but a lot of this stuff was put in for the people like Bored, Saurus, and I, who have been getting people into this game forever and not necessarily getting a thank you for it. And at the time being, they put in things that were not game changers. A lot of the stuff was only in Arena Commander, right? Now the stuff that they're putting in is very much in the game and is very much a game changer, and I think that's what some people are upset
I would have been happy with 1,000 UEC per referral and occasionally some flair.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Exactly. 1,000 UEC per referral would be amazing.
Which is a game changer as well, but not...
But everybody can earn it, and it's the same as a linear thing or whatever. Now, something I do want to mention is, so people have this in perspective, 2017 for the Javelin is a minimum, because they have to have $45 spent to be considered a referral, is a minimum of $190,000 spent. I'm just putting it out there so people know how much of, and I don't feel.
Isn't it $90,000?
No, 2017 times 45.
$90,000.
Oh shit! You're right.
Regardless,
yeah, that's right.
Just
$90,000. 90,000. That is over by double. I am mistaken there.
Sorry, no worries.
It's still a lot of money.
It's still a lot.
The points made, but the thing is not a lot of people are going to get to that, and you want to give them something really special. It's just giving them something that special is kind of. That's kind of like, I see where people are coming from with that kind of stuff. And there's the issue of there's only a small number of people that are going to be able to do this, and it's YouTubers only. There's no Twitch streamer can ever hit that number.
I'm seeing a lot of people complain.
I don't think they quite understand. I don't think they quite get it.
They're like, oh, these guys are all streamers. It's like, no, dude. I don't even have 200 yet.
I have 40.
Some social media people and some org leaders will also be able to get this, and obviously you've got to assume that they're going to be sharing those shits with their orgs and that sort of stuff. So I mean that is relatively good for them. Like, well, look at my org, I've got a javelin for them. Great. They did need to increase the amount of rewards between 1 and 100. Or when we talk about the referral competition, they don't necessarily need to increase the referral rewards in the main thing. But when they do these referral sprints, they should have loads of rewards between 1 and 10. Yeah. That will encourage people to do it, even if it's just specialist flare, a dragonfly,
UEC,
those little ships. UEC.
It doesn't have to be anything like crazy at all, because we all know that these items are going to be of value later in the game.
In fact, it should.
I want the pink dragonfly. I want it because I know
crazy at all.
Later on in game, I'm going to be one of the few people not riding around in a pink dragonfly, because I never would be caught fucking riding around in that thing. Yeah. But I would have it somewhere to be like, yeah, I have
it. On display.
That's what I do in MMOs. I collect shit. That's what I've always done.
Having contest referral reward competitions, these competition things, literally puts stress on people. It puts stress on them of, I can't get that prize, that is unfair. And it puts stress on the people that are trying to go for those prizes, that they have to push for them. And they have to, because I looked at doing it and I went, I'm going to have to be an asshole in my videos to push for them. And I'm already an asshole enough.
Yeah, you don't. I mean, you just say, you know, check out my referral code below. That's all you have to do. You don't have to be an asshole.
I'm trying to promote my communities and the Reddit randomizer for referrals, not just myself. Like, and I'd have to re-gear myself. I'd have to go, well, guys, you're going to have to wait for a few months because I really want an HSM and a trip to Gamescom. Like, that's, I think, and that wouldn't even be like a guarantee. That would be hard work.
Yeah.
That would be an extra job to be doing, going for those referrals. So those kind of sprints, they're a great idea if you have loads of referral bonuses between 1 and 20, say.
Yeah.
One for 3, 1 for 5.
I think that's where there was definitely, and they spent a lot of time on this, it seemed, because we've heard about it for a few weeks. Why don't I just wish they would reach out to us a little bit on this stuff sometimes.
Yeah.
Right? Just double check.
I just can't believe
like
stupid.
Not that it's not stupid, because I don't think a lot of the things that they did were stupid. I think they could have done more, a little bit more to make it better for everybody and not have. I mean, I don't think there's many people that were excited about this.
I think the referral contest should have been
there was positive.
Should have been one announced after 3.0.
Yeah, we can get into that too. There should not have been a contest before.
No, there's nothing. The game's dead at the moment. Number 2 is there's some things in the contest that was announced. Now this contest goes until August 8th, and the rewards are the Forced Meme Kitty, the Forced Meme Kitty Dragonfly, or the first one's a shirt. Sorry, the second one is a Dragonfly skin. Then the Idris M.
It is for real though. It's Star Kitten, which is an in-lore like anime character.
Yeah.
It's very girly and childish, and
it's
I'm not sure.
Parody of
Hello Kitty.
I get you.
Hello Kitty, exactly.
There's the Idris M, which is going to be the leaderboard top, and then the all expenses Gamescom trip, which is $29.42 in lifetime. So. And I don't know if that's one winner or multiple winners.
So you can't. It's the first person to obtain that.
Yeah.
The first person to obtain that can't also win the Idris M.
Okay. So it's the top 2 people that win that. This is definitely one of those things where it's like, yeah, okay, I get the top 2, kind of. There's a little caveat with the Gamescom one. With the lower ones, like you said, I think there should have been a lot more incentives for that.
Now, you would have to think that Chris would have to sign off on this in some way, shape, or form. And, you know, I did mention just a few seconds ago that I don't think they should have done this until there was a game to play.
Yeah.
It ends on August 8th. The 3.0 schedule is slated to come out at, the end of June? So, we should essentially, based on how things are, is have around a month to take part in the referral program, where people will actually be coming in to check out Star Citizen more often.
Right.
They entirely missold it. Like, they could have just gone, guys, because we're getting closer to 3.0, we're going to need more testers. So we want more people into the game. So we're going to have this referral thing. We're not going to have these incredibly stupid prizes that we're going to try and sell to you as community prizes when they're just for 5 people that could possibly win them. Because that's what it was. That's why one of the reasons.
Yeah, like what I would have liked to have
seen.
You
are one of those people. Like I want to point.
You could win, but also it's only these people that we show on screen, and these are the referral codes. Root for them.
You know,
by buying stuff with their referral code.
You know what would have been a much better alternative to this, and I would have suggested this if they would have asked us, is saying, okay, for every 10 referrals that somebody gets, they get put into a lottery to win one of these things. Okay, then everybody could enter into it. Okay, 10 referrals. And yeah, you know what?
Get more tickets
exactly.
Because they get more people in, but you still have a chance.
And this also leans towards me saying, last year, they brought out content creators. They basically gave the Gamescom trip to people. Twerk went. Bad News Baron.
Yeah, I already had that trip.
So all of those guys got to go and do that. And so my question is now, is this how they're bringing out content creators? Is it going to be because we know that I did the LA thing for CitizenCon. I streamed from there. And different events for that I was already going to. But is this how they're going to do this moving forward?
Maybe.
If
But the thing is a couple of those guys that were on that ATV was the top. There was one guy, like, was he even a content creator? I've never seen him in my life.
a bunch of them, I only recognize STL.
I recognize a few of them.
I've done research into how they've been getting their referrals.
Yeah, and I would imagine one of them is a Google AdSense.
I mean, one of them's social media using Facebook and referral randomizers. One of them's the AlphaCast, for example, like gateway to the French community.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. So some of them are got these niches that they are bringing people into the game, and it's absolutely fantastic what they do. I don't like the stress of having to participate in leaderboards.
Well, how about this? How about they advertise it as a contest, and they have these main two things, right? The Gamescom trip and the Idris M. And then they go to show, hey, these are the people who are bringing in a lot. So basically, this is who this contest is for. And not only do they get those people as an interview, which is fine, but then they're like, oh yeah, check out, use the referral code and use whatever. It's like, what?
So you put everybody behind the 8-ball before they even start.
I had quite a few shitty emails and Reddit messages in the morning saying, Bored, I can't believe you participated in this. How could you let them show your code? And I went, my code wasn't even shown.
Your code wasn't on the screen.
The level of anger.
You just happen to be on the leaderboard because you have a lot of referrals.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Some people are so ridiculous. But
I think the upset about that was also warranted.
To put their codes on screen and to
advertise for them specifically.
So you know, that's what, when I saw that, I was like, well, I mean, I wasn't planning on taking part in this anyway. Yeah. But now, like, why even bother at this point?
Do you think that they actually got any people to sign up with their codes from watching an ATV without a link to that code?
No. And even if there was a link to their code, everyone that's watching ATV has the fucking game anyway, for the most part. How many referrals would they actually get? Maybe 10?
Yeah.
20?
Yeah, it's going to be a minimal amount.
Yeah.
It still was, I think, not something they should have done. Yeah. Yes. I think they could have still done the interviews
was the best.
And said, you know, how much they had. I don't think they needed to be like, oh yeah, use their referrals and there you go.
Yeah. It doesn't matter to me. It doesn't affect me one way or the other. I'd like to try and get
those prizes,
a big dragonfly, but I'll probably end up buying it in the game at some point if I don't. You know, doesn't matter.
The top 2 prizes I don't think are attainable by 99.999% of the people. I think you're looking at 5 to 10 people maybe that are going to be vying for
to get 10 referrals.
No, for the top 2.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's probably 2 people.
Literally 2 people.
Well, only 2 people who only 2 people who will go after them, or sorry, 2 people that'll win them, but there'll be a handful that'll go after it.
Yeah, I thought you would have gone after them. I thought you would have gone after it.
Too much effort, too much stress.
Yeah.
And I'd have to be pushing them, and people would be like, Bored, you're pushing your code down through people's throats. And I'd have to do that to be competitive. Like, I don't have it in me to do that. Mm-hmm. Like, a lot of these guys have already got a system.
Is a trip to Germany worth that? You know what I mean?
Yes.
No, not when I've already
not when flights, not when Bored is right there, you know.
Yeah.
And for the amount of work and the amount of doing that stuff, it may be worse in the long run, you know. So.
Do you know how drunk I'd be there? I wouldn't appreciate any of the free. I'd be in bed for a whole one of the days. Like, I'm still hungover.
You're in bed right now.
Oh, mate, I wish this was bed, mate. How far does my chair go back? Not very
far. Yeah. So that's the referral stuff. If you wanted to go check that out, there are some links in chat. If you want to pull those over.
Before we're done, we should go a bit into start kitting a little bit.
So just be aware of that.
Oh, the forced meme. Forced meme is forced. And
I think they tried to do another Big Benny's, but I don't think what they understand is that Big Benny's wasn't created by them; it was created by us.
Yeah.
So yes, you do need to create lore in the game, and I understand that this is an in-lore thing. But if you're going to do something like this, pay attention to your community a little bit more and see what is becoming exciting and what we get excited about and what's interesting, like the Big Benny's thing, and then actually capitalize on it in a timely manner, which they didn't do with Big Benny's. Is they kind of came out with a shirt that was less than stellar, and they came out with it like
a little too late,
long time after it happened. I think if you capitalized on something like this, and did it this way, it would be fine. But because it's something that you tried to create and think that we would get excited about, which literally, look at your fucking community. They're all guys.
Well, this is the thing for me is
excited about this stuff.
You know, even before we I get that they want to introduce different cultural stuff, right? I get that they want to introduce something like Star Kitten. I get that, but this is something that you should have been hinting at way before. In like you said, it. They say it's an animated series within the game. You know, it's something that's on TV or
make the animated series first.
Make that first, exactly. That's what I'm saying. You know, make that sort of a first thing, or make it on a shirt, make it on a T-shirt first, and just put it in. Just put it in and see if anything comes out of that. Instead of being like, oh, it's pink and it's a Star Kitten thing, and then there's the dragonfly and stuff.
It would actually have worked then.
Yeah, and then it would have actually done that.
I guarantee people would have gotten obsessed with Star Kitten if you just put it in the game and let it happen.
I will happily accept my free Star Kitten Dragonfly, thank you very much. And I don't really care about Star Kitten. I'm not sure why so many people are angry. I look at Star Kitten and think, if I ever need to raise some funds or for charity, I can threaten to get a tattoo of a Star Kitten and go, I will get a Star Kitten tattoo on my forearm for charity or whatever. Like,
you just said if you ever need to get things for charity. Charity always needs.
Nah, they're too needy.
Charity always needs. I think you just kind of put your foot in your mouth here. I think you have to do a charity event to get a tattoo of Star Kitten on your ass.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I raise 2,942 referrals,
$2,942. $2,942 raised to your favorite charity.
Oh, I wish we could I'll do something for charity with Star Kitten. Yeah, Chris. But as soon as I can move my neck properly again, I'll think of something. I feel like I can't get away to defend myself. No.
I don't know. It just comes down to, I don't think people are upset. I'm not upset about it.
No.
I just don't like things forced.
It feels forced. Yeah.
And I think this marketing did a fantastic job with the Banu Defender. And I think they did the complete opposite job with this referral thing.
Yeah,
I guess.
I'm the same way. Like I don't, the Star Kitten thing is whatever, neat, cool, but it feels like it's like, hey guys, this is make things about this. Here, this is a Star Kitten thing, and it's like, nah, I'm good.
Nah, I don't want to, because it's a thing that I'm not ever going to be interested in.
I'm worried that the community finds lots of things like Star Kitten so polarizing. There's so many other things to do during the day. Like I don't got time to be angry at Star Kitten.
It has nothing to do with Star
Kitten. It has nothing to do with Star Kitten. You're missing the whole point. It's not about Star Kitten's in, neat, whatever. No, it's about them trying to like force these memes, and marketing. It's just so cringy. It just feels really cringy. I don't know. For me, that's how it comes across. Is it's like, ooh.
Like in CIG, this is like they do this kind of stuff really well normally. That's the thing. That's the only reason it's polarizing is CIG is like really fucking good at this stuff.
I like selling ships
and they just like really weren't this time. That's all.
Yeah.
You know?
Just drop the ball a little bit.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's move forward. BritishCon just happened not too long ago.
Happened.
Bored, you were there.
Oh god, yeah. There was a Viking that made me drink Sambuca all night.
Oh, that's fun.
Ew, really?
But Sambuca's gross though.
Yeah, I mean,
I was there in spirit.
I like, what's the drink that the dude drinks? I like that drink.
The drink that the dude drinks.
Yeah, the dude abides. What's the fucking drink in that movie? Everybody knows what I'm talking about. They're gonna say it in chat. It's a White Russian.
Chat. There you go. It's a White Russian.
Okay.
White Russian. Love White Russians. But I don't know. So they had a panel with devs, and the devs were Luke Presley, who's you know popped in the podcast channel quite a few times, is in my channel pretty regularly.
Of the live PU, I think that's Luke Presley's title.
What's that?
I think it's Luke Presley's title is.
His title's changed like 37 times. But basically, he kind of oversees everything that we're playing now. Everything that we get live, Persistent Universe, well, even part Arena Commander, Star Marine, all that stuff.
Star Citizen Live.
It's everything.
Maybe Star Citizen Live.
Yeah, he kind of overlooks all the stuff we're playing. He was the designer of the Benny Hinn's mission. That was him. Like, he came in my channel and was like, "Do you like Easter eggs?" I was like, "Yeah, put an Easter egg in, it'll be awesome." And that's while he was designing that.
Doors, Korea doors.
Korea doors. Yeah, he mentioned you at the BritishCon panel, actually, Source, with the doors. Sean Noonan was there, who's a big friend of the podcast as well, and everyone's channels. There was who else was there?
Brian Chambers. Was he there?
Brian Chambers was there, but I'm trying to remember. I can't believe I'm forgetting his name. He's the guy, the lead ship designer. Whatever. He's
What do you mean, whatever?
Wow.
You got this.
People will say it. People will say it in the chat.
We got John Crew as well.
John Crew. That's the one. John Crew. They were all there, so it was a good like mix of the people that work on all the things that we're playing now and gonna currently be playing. And I guess the first thing they went into that was like really important to point out was missions. And the missions that we're going to play in 3.0, they went into much more detail than we've heard at any point. And if you want to go with this board and we'll maybe chat a bit about it, I feel like you know.
Yeah, so they talked about missions in the Persistent Universe, basically for 3.0. And they talked about, at the moment, that currently supporting in their current build, they have like 24 player servers. Obviously, they aspirationally want more players in 3.0. But they're effectively building these missions around areas where they can get crossover of players. So what I mean by that is that areas will draw players in for a lot of reasons. It might be missions crossing over. It might be because there's salvage there. It might be whatever. There's a black box there that everyone wants, or that there's multiple missions that cross over, whatever. So the idea there is to create conflict, interaction, competition, and a sense of tension. With all these players nearby, which
they've attempted before. So a lot of their missions they have now do similar things. So I'm hoping that this is a better implementation.
Yeah, like when you look at the Korea stuff, you look at the Kovalex stuff,
the
ICC missions.
Not even the ICC, the turning on and off the comrades.
Yeah,
there's two sides to that.
I'd say a lot of that is more forced than crossover. Like, there's a public enemy, someone has to hunt them down. There's defending the Korea mission compared to people wanting to go to Korea to lower their rating. That's more forced than kind of.
There's not multiple missions there, or multiple reasons to be there. No, I get what you're saying.
And also, you very much know why someone else is there. You're like, but in this situation, you're like, why are they there? I need to communicate with them, or I need to kill them, or they can help me. There's lots of things that could happen for that, and you get emergent gameplay there because you're not sure, and there's crazy things can happen. But they described like there might be scavenging and salvaging around the area, and people might be there for similar reasons. Is it going to be flight or fight, whatever? But 3.0 represents mission-wise, with like very early subsumption-based stuff, tangible, replayable content that we've never had in the Persistent Universe really before. And there's going to be like the procedural nature of that content for missions makes that reality. So
and
a little bit different every time we play.
That's what we need, right? I'd love to go into. I would love to go into Star Citizen now. I would love to do it all 6 days a week that I play games, but I would imagine that with 3.0, I would be able to comfortably play between 3 and 4 days a week and get a solid amount of gameplay each day by just
I don't have to do the same thing every day.
Yeah, not know that I'm going to do the exact same thing.
Honestly, as long as I can do 2 days in a row and do different things, right? Because in like a 5-hour stream, I go through everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it'll be nice to be able to spend some time. Okay, today we're gonna go explore.
Everything.
Yeah, I know, but now hey, we can go in and explore Yella today, or hey, we can go do Daymar, or we can go do some missions, or we can go do whatever.
Yella's gonna
do
be
some multi-crew stuff
larger now as well.
Oh yeah, so the asteroid field around, that's one of the reasons that the Big Benny's henge got discovered, because it's to a significantly smaller scale. Like,
the lights were too bright.
Well, the other thing too,
lights are too bright.
If you haven't noticed is, and I'm sure most people have, but it maybe hasn't clicked with them, is when you're sitting at Port Olisar, which is right next to Crusader, you can't see any of the moons. You just don't see them. So do you think that that's going to be a thing, that you're going to actually be able to see them? They're going to be large enough that you're going to be able to see them at distance now?
In some situations, yeah.
Perhaps.
Like as long, like I get if it's like a really far out moon, like you can't see it. But do you think we're going to have any sort of moons that are going to be close as, say, Earth's moon? Or maybe even just a little bit further away, where you can
really close.
It's exceptionally large.
Planets?
It's exceptionally large, and it's really close. But But I think that it's, you know, you see, like, for example, a very iconic is the twin moons in Star Wars, right? Or the multiple moons on Star Wars and stuff like that. And it makes the sky feel alien without having to change it to weird colors and stuff like that, because you have those astral bodies that you can see from the planet's surface. Right? And so I'm wondering if that's sort of going to be something we're going to be able to see, because we know that the moons and the planets are all going to have rotation and orbits, and that would be cool to see something like that go across the sky when you're on a planet or on other moons.
The intention is for the space to be visually interesting, and for those astral bodies to make sense where they are as you're moving through quantum travel and when you're moving from one place to another. So you would be seeing stuff that is kind of there. I'm not sure at what level of detail, and I'm not sure exactly if it is exactly what you're seeing or if it's faked some way. But I think obviously the intention is always not to fake stuff. Well, they don't have to. But you are going to be able to see those astral bodies, and they are going to make sense from where you're moving from and to.
Yeah.
If you could see them.
Yeah, I hope so. Like they showed on the one demo where you could see the satellite because it was close enough, and even though the satellites are tiny in comparison, I'm just hoping that the moons now are going to be big enough that we're going to see them from a further distance than we currently can. That's all. Yeah. Do you want to move in?
Just there was like one other thing that they talked a bit about Star Marine. And that they were going to put vehicles in, and they're doing a lot of experimentation now, because Star Marine's out. I still think they could have done a Counter-Strike style gameplay game, but and
I think we're going to see a lot of that stuff come in, and I think for the modding stuff, especially,
have it now is what I mean.
Yeah, right. I agree with you, but I think with the modding eventually coming down the road, or other game modes and stuff like that, are definitely going to come in. You know, you see combined arms, you see stuff like that. I think CIG is cognizant enough to know what kind of games are popular. You know, you look at my recently uninstalled and removed Battlegrounds, for example, right? And that's a really good example of that's something that could be the game within the game. You could throw that on a planet and make that a game mode. You know what I mean? Now, that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to put that in right away. Their developers are working on other stuff that's definitely more important than that. But I agree with you. There's minor things in Star Marine that can be fixed. Things like being able to invite an entire team. Things like team deathmatch, right? These are things that I don't think would take a lot of time to implement them into the actual game, but are huge quality of life things for the game, and for the types of games, and for the amount of stuff that's playable to make it feel like there's more stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like, for example, like a team deathmatch thing it gives more options, right? Because as we have it right now, we have elimination, we have last stand, and every time I go into last stand, I feel like I'm playing team deathmatch with my teammates, because that's all everybody sort of seems to be doing, but nobody wants to go into elimination. Right, and it's the same thing, you know, and that's why I do so well. But when you go into elimination, nobody's in there, because they don't want to wait for that queue and everything like that, and they want to play with their friends and whatever. So I would like to see that stuff come in a lot quicker.
Yeah, I'm with you. And I guess the only other like cool stuff is that they're going to put vehicles in, and the stamina changes we've been seeing and have talked about. And it seems like obvious timing with the heavy armors coming in. That stamina will have to be a part of it, right?
Yeah.
So those heavy armors is probably going to be
the stamina and stuff. The stamina is going to be I'm really looking forward to it, because it's going to add a lot more to the tactical. It's going to change the gameplay entirely. It's going to add a lot more to the tactical side of things, where you're going to have to, is it worth running for 2 minutes? Is it, or am I going to have to hunker down and sort of catch my breath and whatever? Or, is it make sense to bring a light armor instead of the heavy armor, because I want to be more mobile for a longer period of time?
And people will be forced to use cover, whereas at the moment everyone is running and gunning.
That's right.
It will force some mechanics to actually be used, which are not used really at the moment.
Yeah. I just play sniper now.
Yeah.
I just go into
EVA
and Sean Noonan's going to shit on your parade, mate, with his balances.
I know.
Deal with that, mate.
It's fun, though. I like that the sniper, with a decent, like, medium charge, you can one-shot somebody on the chest. So it's an actual sniper now. So you still have to sit there and charge it, and they can combat you with some shots, and it'll kind of move your aiming around a little bit. But it's I don't know, it feels good. I'm enjoying it.
Normally snipers have to be relatively exposed in the Star Marine maps at the moment. Like there's not
and they are
many places where they can, because you have to either like be EVA floating or in a relatively obvious sniper spot.
Yeah,
it's really happens. But yeah, so it is hard to be a sniper in Star Marine at the moment, but I think that's part of it.
Yeah, and real quick, one last thing. There's the Star Citizen competitive combat club that's been put together by a bunch of guys. Yeah, and I'm just gonna put the link in chat for anybody, like if you have your own org and you want to take part in it. I know Nubifier's org's in it and all that stuff. It's on days that I know I can't be there, unfortunately, but it's a community-based like tournament, Star Marine, and I think it's a Arena Commander and stuff like that. So make sure you guys check it out. They reached out and said, hey, can you help us out a little bit if you don't mind? I said, sure.
Worth checking out, even if you're interested in like kind of watching that thing, or how the competitive scene for Star Citizen will evolve, or Star Marine specifically in this case.
Yeah.
Actually, is it both? Star Marine, or is it both?
Both. I think it's both. Yeah.
Yeah, they have like 2v2s and stuff like that in there.
Yeah, they do indeed.
Yeah, it looks cool. So check it out if you guys want. Other than that, I think we can get into questions. I think we've gone through everything. We talked about the Banu, we talked about the cringy stuff, we talked about the really awesome stuff on ATV.
Yep. Yeah, it was quite a mix. Now we have about.
There was one second. So pow! The loner ship update things happened as well. They've updated the document for loner ships.
I had one more thing, question for you guys as well.
Cool. Okay.
No, continue.
I was going to link that. They've updated the loner document for loner ships, and in some situations, those loner ships, you get two effectively. You get one for Arena Commander and one for the Persistent Universe. And basically, the intention with the loner ships is to allow you to play Star Citizen if your ship is not ready. Not always a one-to-one best ship, and in some situations where, if you had ordered a Orion, for example, they give you a Starfarer. That's not appropriate for Arena Commander, so they also give you a Hornet. So they've changed all that, and I'll link that in the chat so people can have a look. And for example, for the Defender, we get a ownership of the Xi'an Scout.
Makes sense.
What are you going to ask, Saurus?
So first questions from WTFOSAURUS to the rest of the podcast here. They brought up on the town hall and some other things that the ship stats pages do not correctly reflect the ship stats. Not only because they aren't updated, but also because there's no way for them to properly do that. Do you think that they should just remove the ship stats page? Do you think that they should just have the ship stats pages up that they do have stuff for, and the things that they should have updated? It is going to be an ongoing thing, and it is going to be a balance, right? The balance of the ships is going to change over time, and you're going to get different weapons and different shields. That's inevitable. I get that. But do you think that they need to put more time into either updating it, or do you think they should just remove it?
Turbulent are updating it, and it is a matter. It's one of their priorities for them, the studio, and they're apparently thinking of ways of doing it so that it updates itself. Someone was saying to me, though that's unconfirmed. In the meantime,
is sort of what I'm talking about.
Yeah, they should disable some of the functionality and just have stats that are confirmed on there, in my opinion, to not confuse people. Because at the moment, it's two versions of two different legacy systems and sort of some of the new system, which is inappropriate because it's confusing. But I still want to see some of those stats available there.
Yes.
They could just send one person throughout a day doing a quick kind of bodge job just to make it more appropriate.
This is what I think they should do. I think they should take all of the ships that are the newer ones that sort of have that use the new system, update all of their stats. For all of the older ships or any of the ships that are in concept that they've talked about or whatever, remove the statistics section. Keep the lore in, keep the pictures in. So it still explains what it is. Say an idea, this is a medium, a large, extra large, a tiny ship. Whatever, how many players they want it to be with, as a rough like 2 to 4 or a single seater or whatever. But outside of that, get away from the hard stats on those things, because I see it all the time. People coming in and asking questions about stats about a ship, or should I get this based on this stats or this based on that stats, and those stats aren't true, and nobody really knows the answer to those true stats. I think
remove the stats that aren't true. Just remove them until it's ready, until the new system's ready. It just makes sense. That just makes sense. I was thinking, do a quick bodge job, but then that's going to confuse people more. Just remove the whole thing, because it's not true. It's inaccurate and confusing, and then people compare ships, and then they get really pissy. They're like, this is supposed to be like this. It's not like this. Where's my size 4 shield? Well, your ship hasn't got a size 4 shield anymore, because that would be a Capita class shield in your Hornet.
So, for example, like the Buccaneer is out, and the Buccaneer has most of the new systems, or all of the new systems involved for the most part. You can have its stats. And basically any of the ships after the Gladius, I think, or whatever it is, wherever that line was sort of
like
drawn.
The Banu Defender stats aren't like. How is that even a thing that happened?
Because they need the item system 2.0 in before they actually fully standardize everything. I understand why. It's just annoying that there's totally. I am desperate for that stats page update, because it allows me to do probably a couple of months worth of content. I know what I'm doing for every day for a couple of months.
And then you can really properly compare ships, right?
Yeah.
Proper ship guides.
It's a genuine comparison on paper that's not confusing. So it is super important. I know it's been worked on. In the meantime, they should probably disable a load of those stats.
Yeah, I think they should just disable them altogether at this point, would be my thing. But at the same time, they've been up there forever, and we just tell people to ignore them. So why not just disable them?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly. From Sal Bridges, what would you like to be shown or like to see at CitizenCon here?
Well, it really depends on what they show at
Gamescom,
right?
Because Gamescom, they have the 2 big events. I think they should save the really big stuff. See, this is the thing. If they save the really big stuff for CitizenCon, it's not going to get the same amount of eyes as it would for Gamescom. I don't think.
They can't save for anything, though. That's the problem. Is
well, they can aim for those things, though. You know what I mean? Like, I'm thinking primarily a Squadron 42 trailer. Right, that is something they could save for CitizenCon over Gamescom, but
CitizenCon should be more Squadron 42 centric than Gamescom should be.
Gamescom
is lining up for this is 3.0 and beyond persistent universe wise. CitizenCon should be very Squadron 42. If we don't have something from Squadron 42 in 2017.
I want to say
there's going to be a lot of uproar, and I'm kind of scared for what happens.
Squadron 42 trailer, I want to see vertical slice,
slice,
tangible gameplay, and then I want a hard release date on Squadron 42.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's all a lot of people want.
And I think that's reasonable.
It is reasonable. It is a very reasonable thing to ask.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
As just members from the community, not content creators, I think that's very reasonable for us to ask, and I think we're probably some of the calmer of the community
of
about
the
this
community
kind of
about
stuff.
that stuff. Yeah.
Right, because I think they were really upset at CitizenCon, and people were really upset post CitizenCon, and at the end of the year, not seeing the Squadron 42 vertical slice, and we still don't have it, and have no clue where it's
There's an
at.
issue now is that it doesn't matter if they promise something or not this year for CitizenCon. There's expectations now.
Yeah.
Effectively promised to us in lieu of last year. So
I would outside of the Squadron 42 stuff, for CitizenCon, I would like to at least see some more planets, some more of the planet stuff, some more of the mechanics sort of what they're working on, because now we're getting to the point where this would essentially 3.0 would be out. We would hopefully have 3.1 at this time, maybe working towards 3.2. Seeing more of the game mechanics, seeing more of the universe coming in as a whole, seeing different systems or how they're doing that, seeing more on the voice integration and
systems
stuff like
as
that.
in
Systems as in like star systems in the game.
Oh God! By the end of the year?
No, at least starting to show some of the work on that.
Okay.
Right? They want to bring in Microtech and all those.
Was slated for
2018, yeah. I know.
Right?
I understand. The finalized version of that is slated for 2018. I get that. But I assume they start working on stuff ahead of time. And they usually, have some things that they've like look at. We don't have Planet Side, but they show Planet Side the last one. You know what I mean? And it's still that's more, it's almost a year out from where it was. So yeah, I think that I want to see some more of that kind of stuff. Some stuff that we can expect within the next year. Of that coming out. Maybe an alien city or something. I don't know. But more of the planetary stuff and more of the different game modes and how they're going to be implementing those. Why are you in pain?
I've got whiplash.
Oh.
I told you before the podcast. I just want to sit like this. Like a fucking robot. My plane hit the deck really fucking hard. I had a little bit of bad back anyway. And I've got it really hurts. Okay? Ow.
# blame United and have a Pepsi. Next question is from Godimus. Was there ever any mention about the Defender having cargo space, and if so, how much? I don't think.
What having cargo space? Sorry.
I guess it's a Banu. I don't know.
What ship having cargo
space? The Defender.
They said it had minimal cargo space in the brochure, but it's also listed as 0, although we can't trust the stat page. I suspect that it's not going to have room for tangible cargo boxes. Like, it's not going to even have one SCU, but it will have a small amount for emergency supplies and that sort of stuff. Not for cargo, but for supplies.
Inventory.
The thing for me is it's still a Banu ship, and the Banu like to have stuff around them that are like, this is what I'm worth or whatever. And even on the Defender, when you go on the ship, it's very ornate and everything. So I don't know. I think
they'd be specialists in the military if they were in the Defender.
Right, but they would
not be so into
the whole thing though is very into, this is what I'm all about, and they sort of bring that with them everywhere. They're very nomadic like that. So maybe, yeah, I don't know. That's one of those things where I could see it. It could have it, and it would still fit. But it may not necessarily.
I think I like the Defender being relatively all about business. I'm not sure if it's necessarily going to be like the trade ships. Like, I feel that it's more when they're a trader, they want to show their wealth.
I feel like they're focused on one thing and
killing stuff that's trying to rob them.
Citizen Shenanigans asks, do you think the Titan suits will have the option to use a shield and sword?
Oh my god.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
No.
It would be hilarious, but no, I don't think so.
Such a weeb.
And And then Citizen Shenanigans go on to say, why do the Banu not keep history records? They are traders and collectors. The history of an item is directly related to its value and prestige. No.
That's it just is super weird to me. That was the only like lore thing that's just odd. They believe in living in the moment.
Yeah, they believe in living in the moment for the future and that sort of stuff. And they do, however, keep technical manuals and like anything that's good technology-wise until they find something better. That's the only real thing that gets passed down. But everything else is always moving forwards. There's no need for them to have any form of history. They're alien. They don't even think about it in the same way we do. Like the human historians are the best form of Banu historians because we've kept more records since we've met them than they ever have.
Clell asks, since so many people have lots of ships beside the starter ships, for example, the Aurora Mustang, do you think in the beginning of the Persist universe, players should have to do a couple of missions to unlock their larger ships instead of getting them right off the bat? I don't think
that's a bad idea.
While I don't think that's a bad idea, they were specifically, up until this point, told that what you buy is what you're starting with.
Yeah, okay.
So I think that it's a good idea.
Your big ship license or something.
Yeah, maybe you need yeah. That's the nice that you could be stepping on, right?
Well, if you start in certain set locations after you've left the military or whatever, in some situations, then just getting to your ship could almost be seen as the tutorial on those couple of missions.
And the mission and whatever, yeah.
I think it should be kind of up to the player what they choose, but I suspect that a good amount of signposting and tutorials will make you a better player before you jump into your Javelin and go, I've crashed it into the sun.
Yeah.
Insurance. Like, there's going to be so many ships that just get obliterated in the first couple of days because people have no fucking clue how to fly them.
Well, Magnetron makes a good point here. He says, start with an Idris, need 500 or 5 million UEC for fuel.
Yep.
Right? So like there's your fucking gate.
There's your barrier of entry right there. Yeah. Call Me Crazy asks me a question. The timer I have on the upper left of my screen is a timer for 3.0. Yeah, yes and no. So it's everybody asks when 3.0 is coming and all that all the time. So just for fun, I put a seconds countdown to June 5th. That is the ETA for it to go to Evocati. That does not mean that it's going to hit that. I just did it as a joke. It's just sort of a fun thing. That's why we're the 3.0 waiting room. And we're close to that. That's all. And then Call Me Crazy goes on to say, will they put all alien species in Star Citizen? Wait, first, will they put alien species in Star Citizen? Yes.
We've already talked about this.
And if second, how many do you think? No idea. Like outside of like
they mentioned that there's aliens that we might not know many.
Well, there's also
1 in a million.
I think he's talking about alien creatures, not alien like intelligent aliens. Maybe. That's how I'm reading this question.
We literally don't know how many sentient or non-sentient species that we will find, and that number will increase. That unknown number will also increase over the years.
And then he goes on to ask why do the ships cost so much money, and can you buy a better ship from in-game money?
You could buy the same ships that people are buying for real money with in-game money when it comes out.
That's right.
Why are ships so expensive? Because you're putting money towards the development of the game, and they want to give you a reward for the money you're spent. So it's not this ship is this expensive. It's if you want to give $185, these are the ships around that you'll get. You do not need to buy any of those. You only need to buy a $45 or a $60 package to get both Squadron 42 and Star Citizen. Use my no, I'm just kidding.
Bam, nailed it.
Use mine.
Yeah, but the thing is those ships are expensive, but they're all available for you to earn in the game. And my suggestion is to just play the game and earn them yourselves, because that's what's fun.
But some of those ships, some of those like $300 plus ships, like even to the Javelin level, are going to be a group effort, or are going to take quite a long time to earn. Bear that in mind. If you're trying to earn a Carrack or a Javelin or an Idris, That's going to take a while.
Yeah, but it's doable.
Yes.
But it is doable.
And there will be multiple ways to earn or get these ships. You won't necessarily just have to buy them. You may earn them through missions. They may be a reward. You may steal them or salvage them or all kinds of things.
Just crew them. I mean,
or just crew them. Yeah. Like also remember, I think every organization in the game has more ships than players. I know that's true for all the orgs that we're in. There's definitely a surplus. So if there's a ship that you want to try out or whatever, you know, I feel like even the pirate organizations are going to be super friendly to their members and be like, yeah, you want to try this out? Go try it out. Or be a crewman on this or whatever. There'll be lots of things doing this. And our last question. Do you think there'll be an alien racing game that is closer to the humans look than others that can have an attractive opposite sex? Attractive to who? Like humans?
I mean, I guess that's what's cool about Star Trek too.
Yeah, you could have like Elf.
I'd do a Banu.
Yeah, there you go. Maybe you know, there's I don't know. I don't want to get into it, but it can get weird.
That like to have sex with trees?
What do you mean like to have sex?
Oh, like a arbor. I'm thinking the word arbor because
Philiac or whatever, you know.
Yeah, arborphiliac or something, yeah.
We call them tree fisters down my way.
Tree fisters. Wow. All right.
I mean, that's a very subjective question. I mean, people find very odd things attractive that I would not, and fetishized. But yeah, go team. You don't know until you see someone in cosplay.
Yeah. But that is it for our questions and everything on the podcast. Bored, where can people find you and what are you up to?
People can find me at BoredGamerUK on the YouTubes, which is my main area of expertises, but also on the Twitches and the Twitters and the Redacted.tv forums.
Stardash.
Oh no! That's literally banned on all my videos, though people are still trying to get in. But I'm recovering from whiplash at the moment from my neck. It's pretty bad. I'm sure people have it worse than me. The problem is I'm a little puss, so hurting my neck, it really hurts. So once I recover from that, even actually before recovering from that, I'm going to be Twitch streaming a lot more. I'm doing PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds now. Saurus has just finished. I've just started playing it, so I'm playing that. I'm quite enjoying that. I'll be doing Star Citizen a lot of the days as well, and some of the days I'm not even going to be playing Star Citizen, just talking about it and doing news on it and doing random mobs and talking about subjects with. So join me for that. What about you, Twerk?
I'm actually the Walking Dead Telltale series, season 3, episode 4 came out yesterday. So I'm gonna be playing that on stream tomorrow, and then Friday watch ATV, play some Star Citizen, and other than that, I'll probably figure it out. Stellaris, we did Stellaris Sunday. We started last week where I played it on stream, but it doesn't really. It's not really like a stream game. So if anybody from the Redacted community wants to join in on that, we just play a Stellaris multiplayer game all together and goof around and have some fun. So yeah.
Right on. And for myself, I have VR finally set up. So I did a test stream of Paranormal Activity and scared the shit out of myself. VR horror games are a lot scarier than horror games on a monitor, where it's on a monitor and you know it's on a monitor and you don't feel like you're in there. So we'll be doing some more of that. I will not be playing PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds anymore, but there are some other games I'm really interested in checking out. Prey's coming out soon, which is a Bethesda game that I'm really looking forward to. I still haven't played the Rick and Morty VR yet. There's a bunch of other stuff as well that I'm really looking forward to. You can find me on twitch.tv/WTFOSAURUS and on Twitter at WTFOSAURUS, and feel free to tag me if you want all my lights to flash and all that fun stuff. You guys have been doing that all week. Tagging me, hey, at WTFOSAURUS, you lights flashing yet? But that being said, I am going to be jumping off right after this, so we are going to send you guys over to another Redacted content creator, Mr. Detox. So there we go. Go over there, type Redacted Raid up in chat right there for you guys. go click on that, and we'll do this here. Redacted raid, and we will see you guys next week. Thank you so much. We love you in the face. Take care, guys.
Love your faces. Now we say goodbye now.